Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's Edwin, the comic jabroni. Welcome back to the newest episode of Arcs and Minis. This is episode 6, and this is a series where I review and discuss a miniseries or story arc ranging between 3 and 6 issues long. If you stuck around to the end of last week's episode, you know this week we are discussing Batman Europa from 2016. So, stay tuned. Alright, so Batman Europa, this is number 1 from 2016. It was released January of that year. It is written by Brian Azzarello and Matteo Casali. The artwork is done by 4 different artists, so there are 4 issues in this. This is number 1. Cover art and interior artwork is done by Jim Lee. This is issue number 2, Batman Europa. Interior artwork and the cover art is done by Giuseppe Camuncoli. Hope I said that right, but it is an Italian artist. Issue number 3, Batman Europa. This issue is done by Diego Latour, both the cover art and the interior artwork. And issue number 4, this is done by Gerard Perel, both the cover art and the interior artwork. So, those are 4 issues. Along with these 4 issues, there are 1 in 25 incentive variants, plus a 1 in 100 incentive variant that is like a sketch cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place number 1 back up front. This is my favorite cover out of the 4 that I have because it is done by the great Jim Lee, which I wasn't even aware of that. Honestly, I looked at it and it didn't really, to me, it didn't look like Jim Lee's cover art. But it does say Lee, and when I was reading it, it surprised me. Jim Lee does the interior artwork. So this story, it was supposed to be pushed out back in 2010, but it kept getting hung up, and they talked about it, and they had artists working on it, and then it got pushed back until finally January of 2016, they were able to get it out. Now, it is a Batman story, guys. So you got a lot of detective work in there. There's some great dialogue. Just awesomeness all around from Batman. It is a very underappreciated, I have to say, story. You don't see many people online talking about this, but I wanted to get it out to you guys because this could be a series that you see out there in the wild. All 4 of them batched together for very cheap, and you're not really sure if you want to pick it up. Hopefully, this little dialogue and this review will either put you on the fence of getting it or on the other side saying, you know what, not really my thing. So story-wise, okay? Story-wise, I'm going to have to give it a 3.5 out of 5, okay? Here's what the story is. First issue, Batman finds out that he has been infected with a virus called the Colossus virus. And he thinks right from the bat that it is Joker that has infected him. So he goes out, finds Joker, only to, be surprised that Joker is also infected with this same Colossus virus. So you kind of have a buddy team up between Batman and Joker. And this is kind of where I take points off because I've never really been a huge fan of Batman teaming up with one of his rogue gallery members. Now, over the years, he's done it with not only Joker, but Two-Face he's kind of teamed up with. Catwoman and him. That was kind of a rogue gallery. They love each other. They're on opposite sides. She's a villain. So it really depends on what you feel on him teaming up with rogue gallery members. Now this is the top of the top, right? He's teaming up with Joker. So in this story, they find out, him and the Joker find out that whoever it is over in Europe. So they have to go and travel to Europe. So each issue takes place in a different major city in Europe, with number 1 taking place in Berlin, number 2 taking place in Prague, number 3 is in Paris, and number 4 is in the eternal city of Rome. What I like about each issue is the very beginning of the issue, they kind of give you a little bit of history in each of those cities. Now, I myself am a history buff. I absolutely love everything about history. I'm actually majoring in history with a teacher certification now, so that was right up my alley, man. And come to find out that there are things they talk about in these issues that I really didn't know myself. Now, I knew let's say, Statue of Liberty, I knew that came from France. What I didn't know was that the other one that is in France, because they have the little sister of the one that we have in New York City, for the longest time, it was actually facing the opposite way from the sister that it has in New York City. Just a little drop of knowledge for you guys. So the story, like I said, it is set in those 4 different cities. They're going around trying to find out who is the culprit. Who is it that infected both of them? And what is the antidote? Now, obviously, don't want to give too much away because you do find out who it was, which was a major surprise to me. I did not see this coming. That was totally out of left field. And you find out what the antidote is, which is yet another twist in the story, guys. Great story. 3.5 out of 5. I really dug it. In each city, you see a little bit more of the Joker and the Batman's like personalities and the way they go about, doing business in these cities. In issue 3, you find out that Paris is probably one of Batman or Bruce Wayne's favorite cities. He, in this issue, says that, when he finally does retire, his body can't take anymore, that he is going to retire in Paris. He's going to get away from Gotham City and he is going to finish his life or, live the rest of his life in Paris. So I find that pretty cool. You get a little bit of anecdotes here and there. It's a good story, guys. So artwork. Now, artwork, it's a 4 out of 5 for me. Now, it might not be that way for you guys. Obviously, issue number 1 is the best one. It is drawn by Jim Lee. And you guys know Jim Lee is one of the best artists on Batman. If you've read the Hush storyline, you would know that. Now, each issue after that is drawn by the artist that drew the cover art. Now, these artists are European artists that I guess they befriended Jim Lee, or Jim Lee was really, he really wanted to get unknown European artists on a book that really was set in Europe, right? So issue 2, it is done by, like I said, Giuseppe Camuncoli. I hope I'm saying that right, and I apologize for going over to the screen to read that, but it's a little bit harder of a name for me to say. What I dig about the artwork is Batman is infected with this virus, and he talks about in each issue how the virus is starting to get to him. It's starting to play with his mind, and he's getting feverish, he's getting slow, he can't fight as well as he was before. So by the time you get to issue 3, it is hard to really see what is going on in the issue. Now the visuals are great. They're in Paris. They show you all of the beautiful things of Paris, but the color work and the outline kind of blurry, and it makes sense because you are reading this through the mind and the eyes of Batman. So Batman is feverish. He's struggling with this virus. So the artist puts you in the same shoes. It's hard to read the issue. Now, issue 4 clears it up a little bit because we're finally getting into the stages where they're finding the antidote and finding out what's going on. But the artwork, guys, 4 out of 5 for me. This is amazing. I absolutely love everything there is about the artwork. Now, I read online some reviews where, some comic book readers, they weren't the biggest fans of the artwork because of that. Because some of the panels are a little bit harder to see. It's a little blurry. It just really depends on how you feel about that. I love how it gets you into the story, guys. And I'm going to be, during this talk of the artwork, I'll be posting panels so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Now, the last category that I always tell you about is speculation. I don't think there's any speculation to be had with this. It is just a great story with great artwork. Another Batman story that's really underappreciated. A lot of people don't really talk about it too much, so I wanted to put it out there to the YouTube comic book community so you get a feel of how it is, and when you see it out there, you want to pick it up. Very cheap to pick these up. I looked on eBay. You can find the whole run for less than $10. All 4 books, probably find them for $8. They are on my comic shop. The 1 in 25 are a little bit more expensive, but they're not $25 books. They're $8 to $10. There's a very nice jock cover. Francisco Mattina does a cover for the 1 in 25s. So if that's your thing, finding those variant covers, they're cheap covers to have, guys. There's also trade paperback, so if you don't want to go and find each single issue, you can find the trade paperback. I found it on Amazon for $8 to $10 as well. So this series can be had very easily. So like I said, the story is great. Gave it 3.5 out of 5, and the artwork is awesome, guys. 4 out of 5. There's just no speculation to be had, and speculation really isn't for everybody. Some people in the comic book community just want to read a great story and look at some great artwork. So that is it, guys. Batman Europa. Maybe not for everybody, but if you're a Batman fan and you love some Jim Lee artwork, you're definitely going to have to check it out. So until next time, guys, this has been Arcs and Minis with the Comic Jabroni. Stay tuned, and after the video, I'll be showing you what's going to be on for next week. So take it easy, guys. Peace. Next time on Arcs and Minis, follow Logan through the ages. In the 1800s as a young mutant, to his first encounter with the Hulk, to his stint with the X-Men as Wolverine, it's all here. Old Man Logan is accidentally sent spiraling through his own past, forced to relive some of his most tragic and intense moments. Will he be able to free himself from these living memories? Will he ever return to the wastelands and the young baby Hulk he left behind?